In the beginning, games were just that. Games. Fun for kids and adults alike. Timeless test of challenge would push you to fight for the best score, which would then determine your social status. Back when playing them didn't make you an outcast at least. But that's all they were. Art direction after all was simple, sometimes so simple you couldn't even understand what you were looking at. Like, look at this! What are you shooting at? Gremlins? Monsters? Termites? You can't tell. That's because when games could barely afford to display more than 3 colors on the screen at the same time, there was no space for context. A story, a theme, an element that unifies it all and ultimately tells you not what to do, but why you're doing it, where you're doing it, and who you are in this great universe. Not to say game designers didn't understand that. Back to this incomprehensible pile of zeros and ones. The first thing you'd see when you wanted to play it was this huge monolith. And look at the art on that. A far distant planet with the biggest monkey. So you're like, okay, this must be Dragon Ball Z. But then you read the title in that electric yellow color. Space Invaders. Okay, we're in space. I know space. I've seen it on TV a few times. And there are invaders. So it must be Bruce Willis fighting them off and saving Earth. Bam! Context. And now we go and have the adventure of a lifetime saving the human race. And that shit was so amazing. I think they made a movie out of it. A few of them actually. But for the longest time, this was the golden standard. Game stories usually follow very simple templates. You bought a game called Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you knew you were going to fight demons from the sewers for pizza. Batman, you're gonna smack that Joker dude and spend 5 minutes crying about being an orphan. Gradius, you get very angry. Fastest Quest? Don't you ever ask about Fastest Quest. You didn't have much more to work with because of technological limitations. It was enough at the time, and games being seen as kids' entertainment didn't need to provide anything more. However, one day, someone thought, "Hey, wouldn't it be nice if we let our characters say something more than yeah and make them have like, I don't know, actual human, heartfelt backstories?" And suddenly, it's the late 90s. Metal Gear Solid 1, Grim Fandango, Silent Hill, System Shock 2, Half-Life. Games with complex stories and complex characters. Sure, you could still save the princess, but what if your princess actually wants to destroy humanity, but she's also very attractive?
You will do as I tell you.
In the span of a decade, context became centerpiece of gaming, and more often than not, it's the main drive for marketing campaigns.
You can see as you go flying over the hills of San Francisco.
I could describe you a game where you go in an open world, where you have to do random activities, and sometimes some missions where you have to deal with the worst control scheme devised by mankind. And you'd be like, why the fuck would I play that shit? But if I give you a cool context, the whole game becomes cool. It becomes GTA San Andreas, goddammit!
Crash is back in the race of his life.
Problem is, not long after, for some reason, some dumb motherfucker must have thought, what if video games were more video than games? That man was David Cage. But no, there were others before him. Don't worry, David, don't have it against you alone. Go back in your room playing with your motion capture toys. Video games beat the Garden of Eden's apple, and suddenly they felt ashamed of being games, so they tried to turn into movies. Quick question, would you ask a book to be sold with a screen that turns words into video? No, because that's a movie and you want a book. That's a stupid idea. Don't you fucking try to do that, Elon. I know that's the kind of ideas you get when you don't take your meds. Then why do we praise video games for becoming these giant cinematic blockbusters, when more often than not they're just turning into big-ass movies? It's not that I don't like cinematic experiences on principle. In fact, I liked many of them. The problem is that this movie-like presentation can't always synergize with what games are, interactive media. And when plot, characters and settings become so complex and nuanced, the first few minutes of a game have to do all the job of introducing the player with prologue chapters. Now, I'm not gonna complain if a game uses a big, meaty, chunky cutscene to start things off. Give me all that shit straight up with some nice shots and honest to earth good writing and I'm on board. Look at Metal Gear Solid 3.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
27 goddamn minutes of cutscene! But now, we're no longer in a cutscene. We're in a forest in Mississippi. Now go and feed grenades to crocodiles. This shit was fun. Anyway, here's the problem. I also need to know how to play your stupid game. And now can you go through a very gamey process as teaching me the basics if you also need to be a bombastic cinematic masterpiece? Look, this is fine, it's cool, but what's this game about? Is it a climbing game? Let's, fast forward. Oh damn! It's a shooter? I didn't know that, but it's been more than 10 minutes already. I'm invested in the story, I don't want any of that tutorial shit anymore. Hey, you! Don't you dare making me go through a narrow place so you can teach me how to crouch. Ah, there it is. Piece of shit. This constant push for more movie-like intros just can't coexist with the need to explain the controls and the mechanics to the player. It's like taking a kid to a park, but every time they try something new, you tackle them and say, "What the fuck are you doing to me? Are those monkey bars? Quick, raise your hands and move them back and forth." Still, whenever a game tries to make me enjoy the story while constantly hindering my progress by making me do some stupid predetermined action that I have no choice but do, my immersion is broken. Look, it's still possible to do, but only if your game is simple. Like, look here, shoot with R1. Okay, that's all I need to know. Now, give me the footage for Monster Hunter World, please. Fuck. The more complex your game gets, the harder it is to intertwine tutorial with the story bits, and the entire process just becomes a mess and the foundations of your context are already ruined, because now all I care about is just getting past the prologue as fast as humanly possible. What do we do then? Well, you can go back to the drawing board and simplify your gameplay, which is not really always possible. Or you can put some actual thought into it and meticulously craft the first few hours of the game. But that's admittedly pretty hard to do. Or, but don't tell anyone I showed you this. Do what they did 20 fucking years ago! Designers already figured out that the solution to this conundrum is just to create dedicated levels with no ties to the main story, made just with the purpose of teaching you the ropes so they could then let you jump into the actual game without having to handhold you through the whole thing. Splinter Cell. Check if this 50-year-old man can still climb a rope without getting a heart attack. Tomb Raider. Fuck around the house and try to imprison this dude. System Shock 2. Spend 3 years in the army choosing what you want to specialize into. You want to be Schwarzenegger in Predator? Cool. You want to be a psychonaut? Cool. You want to be an intergalactic cook? Your choice, man. Or holy shit, I'm actually going to praise this franchise. Fucking Call of Duty did this for almost a decade, and players loved Modern Warfare 1 intro. The good Modern Warfare 1. Just because you had to beat that goddamn timer and you wanted to smack Captain Price's smug face with a perfect score.
Sprint to the finish! Pretty good soap, but I've seen better.
Fucking piece of shit. But clearly some people must have disliked having good ideas. Probably someone at EA. And even this amazing tool has been used less and less, so now we're stuck with games where prologues are just an on-rail sequence that puts me to bed. But who knows, maybe I was wrong and this was the right way to do things. Until I bought a Nintendo Switch. You got to understand, the first words I uttered in my childhood were PlayStation. I've been a Sony boy since I was a fetus, because that was the main console in my country, so I never got my hands on a Nintendo or wanted to. But you also got to know, I was a very stupid kid, cause god damn, every exclusive on this thing got hard. Breath of the Wild, fuck that, boom, you spit out in the world and now you go cook some roasted liver. Mario Odyssey, okay, we're done, now go and jump on some Kumba. Kirby, tada, oh, you're already playing. These games set contests very soon, very fast, and you already get into the part where you can have fun. Not to say they're all equal, Skyward Sword was a 25-hour tutorial game, but I can't always expect perfection. Not when this publisher already seems to attract designers that understand the importance of smooth and fun prologues, and the Xenoblade devs.
But RoboKnob, now you're just being a Nintendo fanboy. Those games barely have any plot to introduce.
Alright, yes, you petulant petri dish full of sperm. It's true, Nintendo games usually have simple context, where you know you're just on a quest to save the world or some shit, so they're kind of playing on easy mode in that regard. The question still remains, how can we teach the gameplay while also setting context this fast in the intro if you have something more complex like, I don't know, resurrected in space to fight demons who entered our dimension because a mad corporation decided to do some crazy experiments? Yeah, probably like this.
Rip and tear until it is done.
Boom! 1 minute 10 and I already have a weapon on my hands. I'm killing zombies. 7 seconds of cutscene to explain who I am. Okay, good. Let's get into the suit. Read the computer. Okay, demons. I know those. I've met my ex-girlfriend. Bam! We're already on the next room. Blasting through, and the game gives us all the tools to understand the core gameplay loop. End of the level, we're shown where we are. I think it's France. Pure bliss. Doom 2016 is the best prologue of the past 15 years, and don't even dare to deny that. You can show this game to your grandma and she'll still understand everything there is to know about its story, while still playing without skipping a bit. And she'll probably take out all of her crucifixes, but that's another story. I want to leave you with a final thought. In the time you watched this video, you could have actually had fun playing Kirby the Forgotten Land, already getting past the intro cutscene, driven as Car Kirby, tried other 4 different powers, and probably already defeated the first mini-boss. Or you could still be stuck in Assassin's Creed Valhalla on-rail sequence where you play as a stupid kid.